Hello everyone, welcome back with another amazing video. In this particular video, we'll be learning another very important Python concept, which is nothing but Python input. As of now, we have seen how we can print any kinds of data with the help of print function, but we haven't seen how we can take any kinds of input data from the user and that particular data how to print in the console. So let's go to our code editor and try to understand this particular concept. So guys, I'm going to use another amazing code editor, which is nothing but Jupyter Notebook. So how to use this particular Jupyter Notebook, let me show you. So if you want to use your Jupyter Notebook, first of all, open up your directory and inside that just try to open up your Anaconda prompt. So let me open up my Anaconda prompt. So here is my Anaconda prompt. So here, first of all, I have to change my local drive. So you can see I'm inside C drive currently, but the folder I have opened, it is inside E drive. So how to change inside E drive? For this, just write this particular command. So E and give this particular clone symbol. And if I press enter, now you'll see that I will be redirecting to this particular E drive. Now inside that, I will just redirect to this particular location. I'll copy this particular location. I'll open up my Anaconda prompt again. And I'll just write one command called cd, that means change directory. And here I'm going to paste this particular link. Now if I execute, you'll see that. Now here you can see this particular directory is changed and now I'm inside Python tutorials folder. Now, if you want to open up your Jupyter Notebook inside this particular directory, just simply write this particular command called Jupyter Notebook. Now if I press enter, you will see that your Jupyter Notebook would be opened. So guys, as you can see, my Jupyter Notebook is opened and this is the interface of Jupyter Notebook. So here, first of all, I'll just create a new file. So I'll just take a new notebook. Just click here, click on the new button and take a notebook. Let me zoom this particular screen. So I'll click on the new and take a new notebook. So this is same like your Collab notebook. In Collab notebook also you used to get a cell, right? Cell to execute your code. So here also you will get the similar kinds of interface. But it is running on your local machine. But the Collab was running on the Google server actually. Okay. So here it is telling just try to select the kernels. So here I'll be selecting this particular Python kernel. I'll just try to select this particular kernel. And you can see this particular kernel is set. Now if you want to test whether this particular environment is working fine or not, simply you can just write one print statement. Let's say I'll just do one print statement. I'll just write hi. Now if I press shift and enter, you will see that this particular message will be printed. Now if you're getting this particular message, that means congratulations, you are successfully able to launch your Jupyter Notebook. Now first of all, give the name of this particular file. So let's say here we are learning Python input. I'll just rename it. I think everything is fine. Let me zoom this particular screen a little bit. Yeah, now I think everything is fine. So before starting with this particular input concept, first of all, I want to tell you why this particular input is required. Why we should use this particular input inside Python. Because if you see that we are having two kinds of application in the software industry. One is like static application. Let me just write down called static application. And another is dynamic application. Okay, dynamic application. So in static application, actually, you don't need to pass any kinds of input. Let's say if I give any kinds of real-time example, let's say calendar. Okay, calendar, then let's say clock. So if you're using this particular application, so here you don't need to provide any kinds of input. Only you just try to open this particular application and you just try to see the dates or let's say times and all, right? But whenever I'm talking about dynamic application, let's say I'll give you another example. Let's say YouTube. Okay, then let's say Facebook. Okay, and so on. So these are the actually dynamic applications. So here you usually pass any kinds of input. Let's say you have opened up your YouTube and in the search button you are searching something, you are searching for anything, right? So there actually you are passing any kinds of input. So this is called dynamic application. So these two kinds of application are available. So whenever you are creating any kinds of static application, you don't need to take any kinds of input from the user. But whenever you are creating any kinds of dynamic application, there you have to take the input from the user. But currently, whatever software actually it is being created, everything is like dynamic application. All the software takes the input, right? So that's why actually we need to use this particular input concept inside programming. Now let's see how we can take the input from the user. So let me just make this particular cell as a markdown. So for this, what I can do, I'll just click on code and here is a markdown option. Just try to select. And if I just press enter, see, it has become markdown, but I want actually smaller view. I'll add some more hash here. Now I think it would be fine, right? So in Python, if you want to take any kinds of input from the user, you have to use one function called input. So this is the function, guys. So this function name is input. Now see, if I write this particular function And if I just press shift and enter, you can also execute your code from here. So this is the run button. If I click on this particular button, you'll see that this particular cell has been executed. And if you want to stop it, so here is a option called interrupt kernel. Just try to interrupt the kernel, see it will stop. And if you want to execute from the keyboard, what you can do, you can press shift and enter again. Okay, if you press shift and enter, now see one input box would be visible. Okay, see there is one input box is visible. Now inside that you can pass any kinds of input. Let's say I'll give one input. Let's say I'll give my name Bappy. Now if I just press enter, you will see that whatever input I have given, it has automatically printed in the console. Okay, that means the input was Bappy and Bappy is printed as a output. Now you can ask me, we can only give the string type like data in this particular input function. No, you can give any kinds of like data. You can give any kinds of data. Let's say if I again execute this particular cell, now let's say I want to give any kinds of number. I can give again if I press this particular enter, you will see that this particular number would be printed. I can also pass any kinds of, let's say a floating type value also. Let's say if I execute this particular cell, see everything is printed in the console. But one thing I think you have noticed, whatever input I'm giving, it is directly getting printed. But here I want to store this particular value in a variable. So how to do it? I think I already taught you the variable concept. So if you want to store it in a variable, so just try to define that particular variable. Let's say my variable name is var, and inside that I want to store this particular value. So here I'll just write this particular input function, and if I now execute my program, now see it is asking for the input. Let's say here I'm giving my name, and if I execute, see now you can see Bappy was my input. Now if you want to see the output, you can simply print this particular variable. I'll just use print function, and inside that I'll just pass this particular variable. Now see if I execute, Bappy would be printed. Now you can see that I'm able to store this particular data inside a variable. But here one very important things I want to tell you. Let's say if I check this particular type of this particular variable. Okay, let's say if I want to check this particular type, you'll see that it's a string type, because here Bappy was a string type data. But let's say whenever I'm giving any kinds of number, let's say I'm giving 1 2 3, so it's an integer data I'm passing. So let's say here one integer data I have passed. Now if I print this particular variable, you'll see that this particular number is getting printed. But whenever I'm trying to check the type of this particular variable, it is again telling it's a string. Let's say instead of giving integer, if I give floating value as well, let's say if I give 1.23, let's say this is the floating value, and if I again execute this particular program, you'll see that this is a floating value. But again if I check this particular type, you'll see that it is telling it's a string. So what is happening actually? You can pause this particular video and you can comment out what is the issue here. Okay, what is the issue here? Just try to figure out that particular problem and try to tell me in the comment. Now let me tell you why it is considering all the data in a string format. See, whenever you are using this particular input function, okay, whenever you are using this particular input function, by default this particular input converts all the data in a string type. Let's say in the input, user may pass any kinds of data type. They may pass like their name, they may pass their age, they may pass their gender, any kinds of data they may pass. Okay, so that's why whenever Python designed this particular input function, they were thinking, if I'm creating this particular input function, I should create in a common format so that if anyone passing any kinds of data, that should work properly. So that's why they designed this particular input function in such a way, so whenever user is giving any kinds of data, it would be converted to the string. It would be converted to the string because string is a common type data. So if you're storing your data in a string type, okay, there won't be any kinds of error, because number, floating value, okay, then boolean character, string, anything I can mention as a string, okay, without any kinds of error. So that's why they consider whenever they're passing any kinds of input to the input function, this would be converted to the string, and whenever user need this particular number as an integer, they can convert it later on. Okay, there is another concept inside Python called type conversion. I'll discuss this particular type conversion. As of now, just try to consider we can convert the type. Let's say this is the string type. I can convert this particular string type to integer type easily. So here I can convert this particular data to the floating data type. So now you can see it's a string data type, but I can convert it to floating data type. So for this, what I have to do, I have to use one function called float. Okay, float is a function, and inside that just try to pass this particular variable. Okay, and I will store in a variable, let's say var. And now if I print the type of this particular variable right now, you will see that Now this particular string type data has been converted to the floating data type. So this is called type conversion. Okay, I will discuss this particular type conversion in detail. No need to worry. As of now, just try to consider whenever you need any kinds of data type, you can do the type conversion. Let's say you have given this particular input as in a integer number. Now, if you want to take this particular integer number, you can do the type conversion. Okay, you can do the type conversion. That time you can use int. Okay, int function. Instead of floating, you have to use int function for this, right? So this is a simple concept. Actually, I just wanted to tell you. Now, I think you saw that how we can take any kinds of input, and whenever user is passing any kinds of input, by default it is converting to the string data type. And whenever I need with any other data type, I can do the type conversion for this, right? Now, one thing let me discuss. See, whenever I'm using this particular input function, let's say if I define this particular input again, and if I execute this particular program, you'll see that it is giving me one empty box. Okay, it is giving me one empty box. So as a user, actually, I don't know what I have to pass here. So instead of taking this particular empty box, I can like show one message here, like what kinds of data I want to take from the user. So for this, what you can do, so first of all, let me stop the kernel. So inside input function, you can give a message actually. Let's say here you can provide a message, enter your name. Okay, enter your name. Now see, if I execute this particular program, now it is asking enter your name. That means it is giving one message. Now as an user, I can get to know, okay, so here I have to pass my name. I think you have seen like in the Facebook, whenever you are trying to create your account, it will ask your name, it will ask your age, right? So that's how they're also taking the input. Now here I can pass my name. Let's say my name is Bappy, and if I just enter, see, Bappy would be stored in the variable. Now if I print this particular variable, see, I can also directly print in this particular cell. So I don't need to take any kinds of print function. If you're using Jupyter Notebook, directly also you can mention this particular variable. It will print that particular value in the console. Either also you can use this particular print function. Okay, inside a print function also you can define your variable. So both way you can print the value. I have showed you. See, now it is printing my name. So I hope guys this particular input concept is clear. Now let me do one small project on top of this particular input concept. So if you do this particular small actually exercise, your input concept will be more clear. So here we'll be creating one small calculator application. That particular calculator would be able to only do the addition operation. So let me just show you what are the steps actually we are going to perform in this particular application. See, here we'll be implementing one simple calculator. So what are the functionality this particular calculator will have? It will only have three functionality. It will first of all take the input. It will take two number. It will take two number. Take two number as an input. It will perform only add operation. Okay, add operation, and it will print the results in console. So this is a simple application we'll be implementing with the help of this particular input concept. So we'll be trying to implement these are the functionality one by one. Okay, so let's see how we can do this particular exercise with the help of Python. So again, I will go back to my code editor, and here I can mark down this particular exercise input. Okay, using input. So here, first of all, I have to take two number from the user. So here I can just write num1. So this is going to be my first variable, and user will pass okay, one number. So here I can give a message, enter the first number. Okay, enter the first number. Then I'll take the second number as an input. So again, I'll call this particular input, and inside that I'll copy this particular message as it is, enter the second number. Okay, now one thing I have to do, because if you see, if I execute this particular program, and if I enter the first number, let's say first number is 2, and second number is 3. Now see, if I print it, if I print this particular number 1 and number 2, see, it is printing as a string type data because I already told you. So if I just show you the type, it's a string type data. Although I passed integer, but it is printing as a string. Okay, because I already told you, if you are giving any kinds of data to the input function, it will automatically convert to the string format, right? But here, whenever I'm creating calculator application, here I can't pass any kinds of string type data. Okay. So if you see any kinds of calculator, there you can pass any kinds of integer data or any kinds of floating data. That means decimal value, right? So either you can convert this particular data in an integer format, either you can convert this particular data in a floating format. So here, what I can do, just to simplify this particular application, I'll just convert everything to the floating number, okay? Float number. Because all the number I will consider as a float number, okay? So here I will convert this particular number to a float number. And if you want to convert, how to do it? So in the float function, just try to write your input, okay? So I already showed you one demo, I think you remember. So here I showed you one typecasting operation. So if you want to convert anything inside that particular function, you have to give this particular data, right? So here again, I will write this particular float and I'll pass this particular input to the float. Now, if I execute this particular code, now if I again pass my number 1 and let's say 2. Now, if I print this particular type, you'll see that this particular number has converted to my floating number right now. Okay, you can see 2. Here I'm converting to the float, that's why it's coming 2.0. Okay, it's fine because again it's a 2 only at the end, right? Now see, I've successfully handled this particular situation. Now what I have to do? So this particular step is completed. We have taken the input from the user. Now I have to add this particular number. Okay, I have to add this particular number. So let me add this particular number. How to add this particular number? So again, I can take one variable called result. Okay, results, and simply I can do number 1 plus number 2. So I have added this particular number with the help of this particular add operator. Now the last step, I have to print this particular results. So to print this particular results, I can use this particular print function, and inside that I can pass this particular results. Now if I execute this particular program, now let's say the first number I will give 2, the second number I will give 3. Now if I press enter, see, the result is 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. Now if I again execute this particular program, now if I give, let's say 2.3 and 3.4, you'll see that the answer would be 5.6999 and so on. That means this particular calculator is working fine and it is only able to do the addition operation as of now. Going forward, we'll be learning more complex exercise. We'll be implementing the entire calculator application and all. As of now, just to explain this particular input concept, I just showed you this particular exercise, okay? So that your concept will be more clear. So I hope guys, you have understood this particular input concept, why it is required and why it is so important, okay, whenever you are creating any kinds of application in the software industry. So if you have liked this particular video guys, so you can share this particular video with your friends and family, and please try to subscribe to the channel. With that guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.